we're going to feed Cujo's older brother, and his name is Fozzie Bear. And it's snowing out. Oh, yes, it is. Won't be needing the summer feather hat today. I got my toque on. There's a funny story. I didn't realize that only Canadians call them things toques. I was in Bahamas actually, and there was this young man had a toque on, and I said, "How come you're wearing a toque?" And he looked at me, his eyes were kind of crossed. He goes, "I don't know what he thought I was referring to, but," and then I said, "Your hat." "Oh, my tam," he said. And in the Bahamas, they call it a tam. I've heard in other countries, they call it a beanie. Okay, here we go. Whoa, up the hill here. See if we can do this in two-wheel drive. Yep, we're doing it. This is about a mile from the little farm. And I've been up here a couple of times already to feed them and water them. But I thought you guys would like to meet Fozzie Bear. There he is right there. He's Cujo's older brother. And he's a sweetie pie, just like Cujo. There he is. He is Beatrice's baby, and he's the one that looks like Cujo, but the one to the left, her name is Moana. It's a young family, and they have little kids, and they've named them all after those Disney characters. There's Moana, and her calf, one of her calves behind her there is named Hershey, and the little calf her last calf is called Pua. But we'll go pat him here in just a sec. We gotta get this gate shut. There. Oh, cowies. How are you doing? It's kind of nice to meet some other cows now and then. This is Moana. She is actually, let's see now, what's the Candy Cow's sister. I think maybe 2 years older than Candy Cow, but she looks a lot more like her mother. Candy Cow, she got lots of the shorthorn look. And this here, his name was Bambino when he was born. That's what we called him, because named after he had to have a name to start with B, because his mom's name is Beatrice. But they renamed him, and so now his name's Fozzie Bear. But he remembers me well. He still comes and puts his head down like that, and okay, pat me, and goes, park brake on. Hey, are you a good boy? He's a very good boy, aren't you? Yeah. And he's a big boy too. Hello. And this is Chuck E. Cheese. Or Charles, they call him, but I call him Chuck E. Cheese. This is Charles, and this one's name is Barkley. Barkley and Charles. Oh, and this is Belle. She's a Himalayan sheepdog or something like that. She's a puffy thing. She doesn't get cold. All of these dogs, they live outside. They don't go in the house, and they've got the coats to prove it. They have a hut that they go in. Belle, come here. Come here, Belle. That's a girl. Yeah. Are you good? Yeah, you're a good girl. She's a baby Belle, I call her then. Okay, let's Fozzie, are you good? We need to turn your water on, don't we? Yeah. Check your food. Yeah, see, she's got the speckledy tail from Shorthorn, but she looks a little bit like a Hereford. I can't remember now. Her dad was a Hereford, polled Hereford cow, or bull that we had named Sam. Yosemite Sam. And there's Pua. It says right on her ear, Pua. You can see it. Yeah. And you remember Coco, or not Coco, Hershey. I knew it was something to do with chocolate. Hershey was out at the big farm for a good spell, a couple of months last summer. She was out there visiting Jack Black for obvious reasons, and she should probably be having a baby sometime this spring. Right, Hershey? Yeah, good girl. And while she was there, I patted her up a bit. She gets lots of pets here. Two little girls that just love their cows. Right? Tickles. And she's the same thing. She's in the same family line as Candy Cow. Yeah, good girl. And these cows are not underfed by any means. They're all very chubby. They get molasses and grain all summer and all winter. What? You want a pat? Okay, you could have a pat, sure. That's a girl. Want a cow? She's got big toes, like her dad. That bull we had called Yosemite Sam, he was a Hereford, and he was designed for, he's what they call a production bull, is the kind of terminology. He was designed to make big babies. And that's what he did. You can tell by the size of the ankles on them. She's hefty. But she's got the speckles you can see down her legs here. She's speckledy and on her tail. Going? Yeah. It's important, I've told you guys before, but if you're going to start a small herd and have them calving, you need to make sure that they're really comfortable with you being back here and messing around back here, because there's a reason for it. Because when they go to have a calf and you've got to help them, you don't want to be like, okay, that's the first time he's ever been back there. That's going to panic her and make her uneasy during the birthing process, and she's not going to want you to be there. She's not going to be comfortable with it. She's going to want to leave you. And so you gotta, like when you go see your cow, you come back here and give it a little pet. And so whenever she sees you coming to talk to her, she knows very well that that's what he's going to do. He's going to go in the back there and mess around, and it's a positive experience. That's important. Like, she's got to think that it's a great idea when you're back there, because it feels so good. This is a curly little thing, aren't you? They had a bull. Her dad was named Herman. And quite literally one of the fattest bulls I've ever seen. He could barely walk. But Herman, his last order of business was to produce with Moana there this little pua. And Herman was a very curly boy. He was, what was it? Dexter Angus Cross, I believe. But he leaned more to the Angus side of things. But the Dexter is a very calm, tame, passive breed. You'll have a hard time getting a Dexter excited. You have to really do something out of the ordinary. And so Herman was quite a calm boy, which was very good, because this fellow here, this is his first little herd of cows, and he didn't grow up with cows, and so we selected some very calm animals for him. So, and he loves his cows, and he had to sell Herman. Last spring, I think he sold Herman, and no, the fall before that. He misses Herman. Hey, Hershey? Yeah. And Hershey is also a Herman baby. These two are full sisters. Same mom, same dad. Hey, boy. Yeah. Tickle here. A little bit. She's a calf, and so she's not that familiar with me. They know that I'm not from around. You ain't from around here, are you? She knows that, but they're quite tame. This guy knows me because he grew up with me. He was eating apples when he was only 3 months old out at the farm, in my little picnic spot there under the trees. Weren't you? Bambinos. Yeah. I'll see if I can put a picture of him when he was just little, out there playing under the trees. So we're gonna finish petting these guys. They do something called free feeding, and he feeds those big round bales. And they have full access to them, so he doesn't come out here every day and open a little square bale. He feeds them those big round bales, and he gives them full access to it so that they can eat whatever they want when they want. And we're gonna go see how that's coming along, how much hay they have left, and so on. Look who's coming up after us. There's Moana, the tank. I haven't been to check the hay feeder since I started feeding them, but you gotta know, thinking isn't the same as knowing. So we're gonna go up here and see if we can find where he's feeding them. Now I don't know where that bale is, but he puts those bales here, there, and everywhere through this treed pasture, and then he opens them one at a time for the cows. There it is. And the difficulty is, well, that's where they've been sleeping right there, quite clearly. You can see in the winter, they're under this giant fir tree. There's obviously no snow on the ground underneath this thing, and it's quite dry, actually. And so this is where the cows sleep. They bunch up there. Maybe some sleep under there. But there's the feeder. And I wonder. And so they just have at it. You can see it's on a diagonal, and they put their heads in, so they're not the least bit hungry. They've got absolutely all they can possibly eat. Don't you, cowies? Yeah. Coming for a visit? And they live in the forest. They have a very natural surrounding for themselves. Hey, Monas? Yeah. Good girl. She's got one long toe. She needs to have some attention there. Need to use a tree lopper and just cut off that long toe, even it up, and then as she walks, she'll wear it square. Okay. Albinos. Yeah. He remembers me. He's like, well, I wonder if he's got an apple in his pocket. Or crab apples. Those little crab apples, they're whatever. Not quite the size of a ping pong ball. I used to keep my pockets full of them, and then the baby calves, whenever they'd come around, they'd get a little crab apple, and that's what makes them love you. You bribe them. There you go. You can see his ear tag with our brand on it still. And because it says our brand on it, sure, it doesn't belong to us anymore, but that tag still associates them with our farm. So if anything goes wrong and they need to follow genealogy backwards, it'll lead them straight to our farm. Right? Big fellow? Yes, sir. All right, everything looks good here. They have hay. She's wide as a house. I'd say you're pregnant for sure. Look at her. Sticking out on both sides. Aren't you, Hershey? Yeah. She's a good girl. She's very, very, very woolly too. You can't even get to the bottom of the hair. And round. There's no backbone there at all. It looks flat like a table up here. Hi, Koa. Having some snow? What are you doing? Huh? Why don't you get all snowy, huh? There you go. What? You didn't like it or you did? I'm not sure. Eh? She's roughly the same age as the babies at my house. Born last spring. Maybe a little bit? Come here. There you go. There's the park brake right here. You just rub it right there. Let's put the brakes on. She might even back up. Is it nice? You like it? Good girl. Well, we don't really have anything more to do up here. And it is snowing slightly. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. But they have lots of room. But cows are very habitual. That's what you heard that saying, oh, follow some old cow trail. Because they go on the same trail all the time. And this little, when Moana was a baby, I was actually on vacation, and they renamed her. I can't remember what we called her when she was first born, but she was the baby of her and Candy Cow, and their mother's name we called her Crazy Cow because she was, I don't know, she was just not touchable, and she had a bad temper, and so we called her Crazy Cow. Didn't we? But she was born at the little farm at our house that spring, very early, and there was still snow on the ground. And so my son-in-law and his buddy came and she was her mother's first calf, now that I remember, because Crazy Cow, she didn't accept the calf. She walked away and left it. And so they had this little bit of a rodeo to get Crazy Cow into the barn there where I showed you the manger, and get Crazy Cow to let Moana nurse, and eventually they got latched up, but it was a bit of a process. And yeah, she was ever so slightly premature by about 3 weeks or something, weren't you? But so as a result of being handled, and she had to be held, put her mother in the stanchion and clamped her head, much to her frustration, and then held the calf up to, I'll tell you this, and reluctantly, but if you have a cow that doesn't accept her calf, and I've seen so many videos of people think, oh, she didn't accept her calf, and then the calf's getting kicked and kicked and kicked. Like, here's something that you can do. Once you get the cow in a cow squeeze, in a head gate or something, through a stanchion or something, so the cow is held still, she can't get away, then you still can't get the calf on the side of the cow. And so what you do is just ahead of these hips here, and in front of the udder, right here, you pass a rope right here, all the way around the cow, and you snug it up all the way around the cow, and you snug it up. You still have to be able to get your hand. You're not strangling the cow, but you make it like you would tie up your own shoes, about that tight. And what that does when it squeezes here and here is there's some nerves there, and now the cow, she won't kick. She can't kick when you do that. And why I'm reluctant to say that is because don't make it too tight. Like, it only has to be, if you can't get your fingers under the rope all the way around, yeah, it's tight, but it's not, you're not trying to hurt the cow, because there are nerves, and you can do some damage if you make it too tight. But if it's just right, so you can get a couple of fingers under there, then she won't be able to kick, and you can put the calf on and she won't kick. But you have to be careful. You can't leave it on there for too long, because it makes their legs go numb, basically. And if you leave it on there a long time, it cuts off something. And then when you undo the rope, and you take the cow out of the squeeze, she could very likely flop over on the back end, because she's got, you ever sat on the couch on your legs where your legs go numb, and so then you can't feel your feet. It's I assume it's that kind of a sensation, because once you take the rope off, you need to leave the cow with that support in that stanchion or the squeeze for a while until she gets her circulation back, because if you just shoo her out, she won't have full control of her back end, and so you might flop over and injure herself that way. And so it's something you need to be do a little more research on that before you take on that task, because you can cause problems. But that's the ticket. You just right around here in front of the udder, up there, and in front of this hip bone here, there's, I don't know if you can see it. There, you can see this hip bone. So in front of that, and you just put a rope there and you do a little seatbelt cinch up thing, and that will stop her. Then she won't kick. She will not kick. She might try the first time, but she won't do it the second time. It feels really not nice to kick, and so she won't. Because you're not hurting her with the calf. It doesn't hurt her one bit. She's just frustrated about it. So there you go. There's some useful information, but it's also dangerous information. So please use that information responsibly. Don't hurt your cow. Right around there it comes. Just put a rope up around the bottom in front of this hip bone and around the cow, and then just put it one end through a loop and tighten it up a bit, just like you had to hold your pants up with a rope, right? Something like that. And then she'll stop kicking. Funny, I always find something to talk about that I probably shouldn't talk about, but it's very useful information, especially for beginners. But doing that without having the cow in a head gate is suicidal. Don't do it. You need to have her in some kind of a stanchion or so she can't walk away. Then you can do that other trip. All right, blah, blah, blah. Should we go? And once the cow, that's the other theory. It's not theory, the fact. Once the calf drinks some of the cow's milk, so that smell of the calf digests the milk, and then the calf starts to pee the milk out from that cow and poop, then the calf, just like people, when you eat spicy food or something, and you start to smell spicy. So when the calf drinks from the cow, and then the calf's scent will change, and so then the cow starts to connect with it a little bit better. And so you might have to put that calf on there a few times before and then the next time you put her in the stanchion, and then you don't need to put the rope around anymore, because she's not interested in kicking, because it's quite pleasurable for a cow when their udder is so full, and it gives them some relief when the calf drinks, and they like it. But especially on first-time heifers, like they don't know what the procedure is. Once they've had a couple of calves, they understand fully how that goes, and they know how to get relief from that. Is you got to get your calf in there. Cow actually goes looking for the calf to get some relief when her udder's full. Right, Moana? You're going to have a baby for the first time. Are you going to like your baby? I hope you do. She's going to have a black Jack baby, or a Jack Black. And we'll have to come up and give you guys a picture of that and see. Hershey. Yeah, you're a good girl, aren't you? Yeah. And Pua. Okay, we're going back down the hill. Watch out. There you go. That's a girl. She's quite tame. But she's another one. Look at that. She's ripped her ear tag out on that side. And they put another one in on this side, because they have, if they manage, a tree falls on the fence on the back of this property, it's miles to the next fence, and so it might be difficult for them to get their cows back. Okay, here we go. And how much snow do we got here? Let's see. That deep, width of my hand. Now watch, they'll come back down, because they're used to their dad. He gives them oats and stuff, but they've got molasses. He really likes to spoil his cows. So I actually had to tell him that holy smokes, your cows are unhealthy, they're gonna have a heart attack. There he is. Oh, are you a good boy? This guy always comes for his pats, don't you, Chuck? Chuck E. Cheese. You a good boy? And then I'm gonna my hands are gonna smell like Chuck. And then Finnegan's gonna wonder if I've been cheating on him, eh? Come on, should we go? Okay, let's go. Come on, good boy. What? He's very affectionate. Chucky likes company, don't you? They've got about a half a tub of molasses there. Good for a bit. Barkley. Yeah, very good. You're a good boy, aren't you? Yeah. Hmm? He's the boss of the place. Right? Where's Belle? Where did you leave her? Hmm? Are you coming, Belle? Come on. There she comes. Yeah. Good girl. We'll go over there and give you guys some groceries. You getting hungry? Yeah. Okay, let's go feed you. You ready? Eat you at the house.